Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for High Velocity Radio.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of High Velocity Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today on the show, we have Doug Hall, inventor, speaker, entrepreneur, innovation catalyst, and author of the new book, Proactive Problem Solving. Welcome, Doug.
Hi, it's great to be with you.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Why don't we get started with a little bit of your backstory? Can you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are?
Well, it's been a long journey. 52 years I've been inventing. At age 13, I invented a Merwin's Learn to Juggle kit and Boo Boo Balloon Animal kits, and I haven't stopped creating new products, new ideas, and new work systems since then. I got a degree in chemical engineering, went into marketing at Procter & Gamble, where I led the Procter & Gamble invention team, where I pioneered the use of systems, applying the work of Dr. W. Edwards Deming, famous for Lean and Six Sigma and such things, to the world of innovation and how we work together. And then I created the Eureka Ranch, wherein we work with companies Nike, Disney, American Express, and thousands of small and mid-sized companies as well, because they're just as important and actually oftentimes more fun to work with. And so this is my 8th book, actually. And it came about because in the inventing of ideas, which I love, I just love the creation of something that's new, something that helps companies make more money, something that turns it from sales being a slog to customers pulling it from you when you have something that's truly meaningfully unique. And what I found as I did it, because I've done a lot of research, worked with academics, I've published in academic journals, et cetera, was that one of the problems with new ideas that are really different, the kind of ideas that will make a difference, is that as you're trying to put them together and implement them, you got to have the team helping you. If the team is resistant to change, the idea tends to get compromised. But if they become proactive problem solvers, it makes a difference. And that's why I wrote the book, and that's why we've developed a new training course and a system to help companies create proactive problem solving.
So when you're saying the team, who are the members of the team?
Pretty much the whole organization, because they all will touch it. When you're doing something that is a meaningful difference, whether it's an internal work system, you're going to transform your sales system, a common thing in these days. People have not made the transition to digital. They've not made the connection to this new digital world. They think it's the old world where you go out and play golf with people to sell them stuff. And it's not the way it works anymore. I mean, it's still a little, but they have not made the change. All the people that are going to be touched. And yes, it might be, if you're a product company, the engineers and the technology people and the manufacturing. But it's also going to be finance, it's going to be IT, it's going to be human. You got to work together as a team if you're going to make it. And so you need a system. As Deming famously said, 94% of problems are because of the system. 6% are because of the worker. It's the system, stupid. And so you need a system, a new system for sales, a new system for making people proactive, a new system for creating meaningful, unique ideas that turn your customers into raving fans.
So how does a company or an individual begin creating that system that makes their product or service, more desirable rather than pulling teeth, getting people to know that it exists?
The beginning, you have to have something that is a difference that means something to people, or as I say, meaningfully unique. It has to be kind of what we've learned when we did the research is that most offerings of companies are pretty much the same old stuff as everybody else. And that would also be called a commodity. I mean, in the meat business, it's like selling pork bellies. They're all about the same. When you are meaningfully unique, when you offer something that makes a difference to the customer, that truly makes a difference to the customer, that excites the customers, then you set off a chain reaction. People tell other people about it. Word of mouth. I mean, the data is clear. The word of mouth goes up by a factor of 5. That's not 5%. That's 500%. If it's a retail product, retailers are more willing to take it because they want to have this because there's nothing else like it on the shelf. The media talks about it because it's news, it's newsworthy. And so you have to take your idea and your offering, whether it's a service or a product, and you have to make it that next level, that thing that people go, oh my God, I wish I thought of it. Or the way I think of it is, think of it as an idea that your competition says, damn, I wish we had that.
But how does, like, say, a person in professional service, say they're a business coach, and, somebody like you, that you came from business, you started your own thing. How do you kind of create something that is that worthy of that much attention?
So when you're in a service like that, which many people are, a way to think about it is the claims that you make. We're going to help you make more money. Or how many more hundreds of people are going to tell me they'll get me sales leads? It's mind-numbing. When you're making claims, your benefit you're offering, it's an exciting benefit, but people don't believe you. So oftentimes in services, it's not so much the benefit that you're offering, but it's the proof of by what method will you accomplish that? That it is something different than what people have tried before, seen before, heard before. And also, you've got factual data that shows it makes a difference. Let me give you an example. We sell a technology in the Proactive Problem Solving book. I tell a lot of stories about our Brain Brew distillery. I created a bourbon distillery and it's gotten out of control. And it has a technology called woodcraft finishing that we invented. And this technology allows you to take 1 or 2 year bourbon and turn it into a 95, 97, 98 point, world class, as good as anything else in the world. And you can do it. Your cost for the whiskey is half what it would be versus a 6-year whiskey because of the difference in interest and angel share and insurance and storage, etc. But even more importantly, it reduces your capital, the working capital you need, by 90%. 90%. Well, that is meaningfully unique. That is something that is transformative. Cutting your capital by 90% and cutting your cost by 50%. When I say I've got a system and it's delivered these kind of benefits, now I've got your attention.
So at the beginning of that, so you come up with this amazing new innovation. So so now you have that, and now you want the world to know about it because you want to sell more cases of bourbon. So what do you do next to kind of evangelize this new discovery, to start at the beginning where there is no trust? They don't know who you are from a hole in the wall. How do you kind of begin the process and get that escape velocity that gets you up to the 100,000 cases you're selling now from a few when you started?
The good news is that all of the various marketing methods, we have the method of reaching people, be it email, be it advertising, be it LinkedIn, be it social media, whatever it is. All of the marketing methods become more effective when you have a meaningfully unique message. So think of it as the mediums the medium is fine. They're all fine. The problem isn't the medium, it's what we're putting into it. If you put nothing in and you get 1 million people to see nothing, you still have nothing. You've got to focus on the fundamentals. What is something that's such a wow your customers would be willing to pay more money for? I'm not saying they have to pay more, but if you've got an offering, a service that is such a blow-away. So for example, with our Eureka Ranch, we do a lot of work right now. One of the big problems that companies have is they get a lot of ideas, but they don't know which ones to do. And so there is a thing that I describe in the Practical Problem Solving book called a business opportunity recommendation, which is a thing at the front will you focus? And literally in a week, you go from I need something, I get an idea, and I have a business opportunity recommendation that deals with all of the fundamental risks so I can make a decision. Well, that's transformative for a company to be able to do it. Now I can execute depending upon who my customer is. I look to see what are the mediums that are more powerful to get to that type of customer. I'm sorry, this is so basic. It's so fundamental, but I'm an old Procter & Gamble guy. Procter & Gamble became what it is because it did the fundamentals better. Now we're looking for tricks and gimmicks, and we've forgotten the fundamentals of what we need to do.
And then the fundamental, that linchpin place to start is having a solution that is unique and memorable.
Meaningfully unique. It has meaning to the customer, and they can't get it anywhere else. It's that simple. I mean, think of yourself. When you go to the store, do you spend money on the same old thing and pay extra for it? No. So, because I say, if you're not meaningfully unique, you damn well better be cheaper. And of the two, meaningful unique offerings are, the research shows, 500% more profitable than low price offerings.
So, but in most companies' kind of portfolio of services or products they sell, should every product be meaningfully unique or just a couple? Like how is this all you should be thinking about 24/7 is to just create that meaningfully unique product and that's it?
Well, I will say that you should be working on meaningful uniqueness never ending because competition is always going to keep moving. So this is something one has to do on a continuous basis. However, you don't need every offering. And the best example I've got is I was fortunate to work with the Andrew Jergens company on a product called Biore. You may have remembered it from years ago. What you put on your nose and you could take it off and it would clean little nose strips that's cleaned up. And the Biore strip, they had a lot of troubles. They'd failed on it 3 or 4 times, and we happened to come up with some ideas, which are beyond the scope of this. But some ideas that fixed it. Became the #1 selling health and beauty aid at Walmart. But what happened was that product actually didn't make a lot of money because it was very expensive to make. But the cleaner and the toner, the liquid that they sold right beside it on the shelf, was extraordinarily profitable. It's always profitable to sell something that's mostly water. And so as it turned out, the meaningful unique Biore strip got their attention, got the customer. And what the customer did is when they're buying that, they also added a cleaner, a cleanser, that they wanted to have with it. And that was massively and it made the whole product a thing. But you had to think differently about it. So you can have in some of the accessories and elements things that are very profitable, but the flagship is not as much, especially if you have to spend more, especially in the beginning as you're starting production and that kind of stuff. So there is a balance, but you've got to have some leads. You got to have some lead things.
So is there a system that you would recommend in developing this meaningfully unique service or product? Is there steps you take to identify where I should be focusing my time and energy to build out this meaningfully unique offering?
Okay, first I'll give you the flippant answer. That's the book before this one called Driving Eureka that details it. So that's the cheapest way to do it. Just read the book, the Driving Eureka book. But seriously, the way you do this is it starts out with what we call stimulus mining, because to create these kind of ideas, there are 3 elements. And this is described in proactive problem solving too, because they're the same, how to create. The way you create the big ideas is the same way you get employees engaged in being proactive problem solvers. And it's 3 things. To get to that solution or that meaningful, unique idea, you need stimulus. Most ideas are feats of association. And this includes patent mining, because 98% of the patents are free. And they're basically blueprints on how to solve problems. And you can just take them and use them at no cost. It's amazing. Wisdom mining with experts, looking at them. Where are things going? What are the trends? Insight mining on the customers. What are their problems? What kind of problems? What are big problems that happen infrequently? Small problems that happen very frequently? There's problem surveys that you can run. Market mining. What's competition doing? Future mining. I mean, there's a number of minings, and you use this stimulus and you bring it together, And ideas are feats of association, and 1 + 1 creates 3. Now, to amplify that stimulus, we bring in diversity. And diversity, mathematically, when we've modeled this, it is not additive. It's not like if you add 2 people, you get twice as much. No. And it's not, 2 times 2, 4, or 2 times 3 is 6. It's not multiplicative. It's exponential. It's literally, you bring 6 people in the room and it's 10 to the 6th power. It's 10 times 10 times 10 times. You get what I'm saying. That's the potential of what you can get. Stimulus and diversity. Stimulus and then people reacting on it. But there's a problem. And the problem is fear of change is epidemic. It's just a fundamental. It's part of the human condition. And so to realize the potential of the stimulus and the diversity, you must drive out fear. And you drive out fear by doing rapid research, fast and cheap research. You also drive it out by using what we call the Deming cycle: plan, do, study. And you may be familiar with CHECK, but plan, do, study, act, or fail fast, fail cheap cycles of learning. You make a little, sell a little, you run some little experiments, and that each time you run them, you learn a little bit more, you learn them a little bit more. When we make a whiskey, when we made our first whiskey that worked to make prove the technology, Joe Gergash, my co-founder, and I, we made 5,000 whiskeys. 5,000. Now, we made only a bottle at a time, and it took forever. But then when we figured it out, we got it. And so now that's either we're just stupid or we were just plain persistent, but we just kept at it and at it and at it until we figured it out.
Are there some clues that are telling you you're on the right path, that you should continue to do the 5,000 attempts?
Well, most aren't 5,000. That was compulsively ridiculous, of course. But generally what I find is if it's still pulling you, towards it, if you're still curious about it, you look at something, you go, I know there's a way to figure this damn thing out. I know there's a way. I know there's a way to do this. I know there's something that we're missing. And when you get it inside you, it comes intrinsically within you. And so to make it great, it has to come from within. It has to come from within. Now, that said, we can also be blind to it. So part of what you have to do is to show it to people. And when you show people a meaningfully unique idea, you know they get it. Their eyes light up. They get excited about it. If they sit there and say, I don't get it, then you didn't get it right. You're not right yet. You'll know it. Now, I hate to say that. It's like you'll know it when you see it. There's test reasons. And in the book, Proactive Problem Solving, I actually lay out the test methods one uses and the types of scores you need to get to do it, because we've done enough research, we know. And we basically ask potential customers, how likely are you to buy it, and how new and different is it? And then we weight the purchase intent 60% and the new and different score 40%, and that gives us a meaningful unique score. So there's actually a quantitative way as well to do that.
Now, what do you recommend to cultures that on one hand are saying, we need you to be innovative, everybody, we need you to take risks, but then they're quick to, I don't want to say punish, but not exactly reward kind of the failure that's necessary in order to find kind of the great idea?
Well, we need to educate. We need to educate. And we have to, that goes on. Of course it goes on. In which case, I tell employees, I said, give them a half dozen chances. But if they don't want to do it and you want to be a change agent, then I think you need to change your job. I mean, that's you. The only thing you can really do is with your feet, walk out the door and leave. There's plenty of companies right now, and there's plenty of companies that are going through transformation. Plenty of companies, as the baby boomers are going out and younger people are taking over, they're looking for change and they know they've got to reinvent it. There are plenty of places that want to do it. And now, that said, my preference is to educate the management, because how could they know? How could they know there's any other way to do it? When they were brought up, they were probably the crap beat out of them. And they think that's the way you're supposed to do it. Well, that's not the way it is in today's world. And that's why it's so much better today. Because at places that get this, transformation happens. I was in a meeting 4 days ago with the CEO of a company who has a way of creating business opportunities that's been very successful for 26 years. And his son is now the president of the company, and his son is looking at it and saying, that's fine when it's him, but if I want to keep growing this company, we're going to have a system and engage more people. And so he had me coach a half dozen of his people on a team to put together a business opportunity recommendation. And 4 days ago, we sat in their boardroom and we presented it to his dad, who's the CEO. And frankly, everybody was a little bit apprehensive. How's it going to go? And our concern was needless. When he saw it, when he saw the proposal, when he saw the ideas, when he saw the math, and he saw we'd taken care of the market risks, the technology risks, the organizational risks, the RI. We'd estimated all of those numbers and put it all together. When he saw the whole thing, he said, now I get it. You guys have been talking to it, but I didn't understand it. But you made me a prototype. I get it now. Then what he did is he said, this is so awesome. We need another one of these. Now, it had taken us 3 or 4 weeks to put this together because people have other jobs. And he said, and I need it the end of this week. I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be kind of tough. But the team was so excited that he was engaged in this new way of working that we're doing it tomorrow. We're going to do it tomorrow. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So who is the customer for proactive problem solving? Like, is it the leadership? Is there certain people in the organization? Who should read this?
First off, the leader of a team, a department, or the company. Because that's the person who you've got people working for you. And frankly, you hired people to help. Are you getting the help you wanted? Well, maybe it's the system. And my suggestion to you, and the way we always start, people say, I want to do this whole organization. So I won't do it for the whole organization. I will only do it with a test. We'll start with one group. And then what we'll do is we'll customize it for your culture. You may have certain names you call things. And if you go in with a training that doesn't match the words that they use, that just causes chaos. And so I believe in customizing. And we have a separate training program for team members, team managers, and for leadership, because they each have a different role in the process.
Now, what are some of the symptoms maybe a dysfunctional organization is having that could benefit from working with you or somebody on your team? How is this showing up in their kind of day-to-day life?
High turnover, employee surveys that show low engagement. Most organizations have a 30 or 40% engagement level. I mean, that's just the reality. Slowness to get things done. Things just take forever. Leaders tell me oftentimes, I can't get anything done. And so I come up with a strategic plan to do something great. And all I hear is that's not realistic. And so I have to compromise and make it down to a plan that really isn't going to make a difference. So it helps leaders be able to be the kind of leader that they dreamed they would be when they got there, only to find out they got this giant battleship that they can barely turn and barely do anything with.
So if somebody wants to learn more, get a hold of the book or get a hold of you or somebody on your team, what's the website? What's the best way to connect?
Yeah, DougHall.com is the easiest. That's the simplest. And then that can take you over to Eureka Ranch, and where you can learn more. I would just start with the book. The book is the simple, quick way to get a sense on it. I think I've got the intro up on the website. You can download it right now. Right now, you can go there and download it and read it and see if it makes sense to you. It's about systems thinking. It's about a reliable, reproducible system that can make your job easier and it makes the employees' jobs more fun.
Well, Doug, thank you.
Joy and work. That's what it's going to give you.
Well, Doug, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much as well.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on High Velocity Radio.